For many years, amongst those who have come, there have been those who were visited at a time of crisis or ripeness, depending on which way we look at it. And they were told, don't forget who you are. Maybe it's even been said to you at some time. But what does this really mean? There's a story about Ganpopo. He was a great physician, very well known in the land, but he was inspired to shave his head, don the robes of a monk, and become a wandering mendicant, but giving out loving kindness, compassion, as was the Buddhist way. But he found himself in the presence of the great Tibetan master MIlarepa. And when he was before MIlarepa, MIlarepa said to him, "Shed those robes, go and meditate." But MIlarepa recognized Ganpopo as his spiritual son. And immediately Ganpopo took up, recognizing deep within his own being, this bond, this relationship. So indeed, he shed his robes and he went to a cave in the mountains and he meditated for 10 long years. And then he was inspired to come back and seek MIlarepa's guidance. And MIlarepa asked him, "What have you been doing these 10 years?" And Ganpopo said, "Why, I've been following your instructions to meditate." "Meditate?" said MIlarepa. "Meditate? Give up this immediately. What is this meditation?" But it shattered Ganpopo. What could he do? He'd shed his previous life to become a monk. He'd shed the robes that he'd been wearing and the truths and what he'd been dispensing. And now he'd sat in a cave for 10 long years, meditating, to be told, meditation, bah humbug. But what could he do? There was nothing left. All had been stripped away from him. So he returned to the cave, and he just sat. After some while, he returned to MIlarepa, and MIlarepa immediately recognized, "It's done." And he said to his spiritual son, go now. Go into the world. I have nothing more that I can teach you." And Ganpopo was somewhat gobsmacked, to use a common phrase, but what could he do? He stood up and began to leave. But as he was walking down the path away from MIlarepa called to him and said, wait, I have one last secret to reveal to you." And Ganpopo waited agog, and MIlarepa turned around and he lifted up his simple hemp shift that he always wore and bent over to reveal to Ganpopo his leathery, scarred, gnarled backside. Ganpopo went on his way to become the great successor and purveyor of MIlarepa's heritage. And then there's a story about a rabbi called Rabbi David. Now, Rabbi David had spent 6 years making atonement, retribution, flagellating himself, meditating, praying, fasting. And then after 6 years, still unfulfilled, he prayed and meditated and made retribution, fasting again for another 6. But he still found that he had not reached that place where he felt totally at peace, as though it was done. So he sought to teach, to seek out his great mentor, the great Rabbi MIlarepa. So Rabbi David went off to be in Rabbi MIlarepa's presence. But when he arrived there and he presented himself to Rabbi MIlarepa, Rabbi MIlarepa shook hands with all others around him, but did not shake the hand of Rabbi David. Rabbi David was perplexed. Maybe I've changed. Maybe he doesn't recognize me. But again, when the evening prayers were over, Rabbi David presented himself again to Rabbi MIlarepa, who again snubbed him, ignored him. And Rabbi David was quite shattered, so he decided that he would have to leave. But then it was time for Rabbi to finish the evening prayers. And Rabbi David couldn't help himself, even though he'd left. He went to the window to listen to this final dissertation of Rabbi MIlarepa. And Rabbi MIlarepa stood up in front of the group and he said, there are those who fast and repent for 6 years and then 6 years again and then come to me to seek affirmation and confirmation, when all it was and all of their actions were done out of pride. Rabbi David was shattered. But he came round to the door as people were dispersing. And when Rabbi MIlarepa came to the door and saw Rabbi David, he rushed to him and embraced him. Welcome, welcome, come in. But Rabbi MIlarepa's son was there, and he said, but Father, isn't this the man you snubbed and ignored? Oh, no, said Rabbi MIlarepa, that was another man. This is our beloved Rabbi David. As we come to the end of our exploration into the place that is said we arrive at when we no longer need or even can try. What is it that's there for us? We've looked at the science, the physics, the chemistry, the psychology, and we've even dived deeper. But now, what do these stories tell us about this place? What is it that has happened for us? To confirm, put paid, completion, and give confirmation that it's done. We can no longer go back to being what we were, and must needs now just experience moment to moment what it is that's revealed for us about what it is that's here when there's only here.